Yeah, so last time we hit a milestone. We managed to render this piece of JSX onto the screen. So it's here. I'm console logging out something, but I don't remember what that is. So yeah, we can. So if we come here to the elements and check the tree, so we have a div app, and I can play around with it. I can have text both of the and it's not limited to like divs and stuff. You can have different HTML elements. So if I decide to use an article, then it's an article. If I decide to use a section or progress or whatever fancy you might want to use, then there you go. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good, as you can see. I think it's a state no section. So yeah, it's capable of doing some really awesome thing. So creating there, but the problem is I'm gonna get rid of this because it's so cool that it's able to render this onto the screen. So the problem is that this code is really ugly, so and it's not really readable. So what I'm planning for this part is to simply refactor this and also go through what's going on, because I really want to make sure that we understand what's going on. So we have a const which is enough time, and I also want to declare some other const. So this enough time is this will be okay. So just briefly describe. So the given time, or just maybe it should be time constraint. Time constraint. How much? Yeah, it's basically time constraint for request idle callback. Request idle callback. Okay, probably we will know what will it mean later on. Task queue. So array like data, not array like data, it's a queue. So it's a queue data structure holding the tasks that needs to be processed. Okay. This create queue will have its own file. Let's do this. So we have let's have a folder like I'm not sure, maybe misc should have an index.js, and it should also have a queue, okay, and index.js. So probably I should just simply get this and export default, and here export default as create queue from queue. Okay. And now what I can do is imports comes first, obviously, so I can import create queue from misc. Is it yeah, misc, and it's simply create queue. Okay, so now we put that into another file. So create queue is just simply okay. Alright, that's enough for now. So we have request idle callback. Maybe we should just, well, it doesn't really matter, but for the sake of clarity, if we are refactoring anyway, then maybe it would worth creating another. So yeah, just imagine that you wanna rest idle. If you wanna make it more robust version, like polyfills and stuff, then it might be worth creating an abstraction over this just simple assignment, I suppose. So let's just get this and post request idle callback, and it's gonna be export default. Okay, so now I can export default as request idle callback from request idle callback, and now I can put request idle callback here. Is it working? Yeah, is it still working? It is still working, yeah, so it's pretty good. Although it seems I'm not using it. Is it a typo? Yeah, this is a typo. Request idle callback. So if I come to MISC and oops, sorry. Yep. Okay. So we have these. We have the task queue. We have enough time. Okay, so now come as the global variables, sort of. So this is the currently executing fiber pending commit. If it is not null, that means we finished a render cycle and side effects are ready to be painted to the DOM. Okay, so get first subtask pops the task queue and grabs the first task to work on and return the initial fiber to process, or null initial returns the initial fiber to process, or null if there are no more fibers left. Okay, let task, we can make it const. Now comes the good part. So okay, let's actually start with some easier stuff. So we have render element void. Okay, so that pushes a new task to the queue and invokes the work loop. So perform task. Well, these are full of side effects and stuff, so it doesn't really matter much, like these signatures, but I think it's still good to have some sense of what's going on. So initiates the work group. Let's be consistent, right? So everything is capital. Okay, so initiates the work group and keeps it running until there are at least one subtask or the task queue is not empty. Good. Work loop. So work loop has pretty much the same signature. So grabs the first subtask, like fiber, from the queue. If there is no being executed at the moment. Okay, keeps an imperative iteration running if the browser is not busy and there is work to do, like subtask not null. Okay, if there are any pending commits, starts the painting process outside of the time sliced iteration. I think it's self-explanatory what it does. Now it's well documented to say. So now we have execute subtask, which either returns a fiber or returns null. Okay, so I'm not gonna write a description for this because we don't know exactly what it does. I'm just gonna write what certain lines of code does. So if if begin task fiber modifies the fiber in such a way that it will have a child, then start processing it in the next iteration. Like, because you just think about it, like it returns the fiber, and in the loop, that function will return another fiber. So it's just gonna go to the next iteration if you have enough time and start processing the next fiber. So that's what it does. Okay, and this part is actually a tricky one. So so what it does is it grabs the fiber own effects, with its effects in the effects array, and propagates them to its parent. That is repeated until there are no parents left. That means we reached to root component. That case, assign pending commit to the root and signal it is ready to be painted. Okay, so what we are doing, if we go back to this fiber architecture, we have an effect tag, so that's the fiber's own effect, right? So what we do is in this case, so it's an empty array, so we just need to put this fiber itself into the effect. So the effect will contain this fiber, so you kind of put it into itself, so it will be a self-reference, but it might have other effects in it as well. So what we need to do is we need to concatenate, and this means that when you go to the next iteration, you will have the parent, and the parent's effects will be empty, but its child effects array will be I mean either it's not going to be empty, it will have some amount of fibers, so you need to propagate it back, and what we do is eventually we will have all the fibers that have an effect tag in an array that can be reached from the root component. So that's what we are doing in this case. So begin task fiber. Okay, begin task is, as we said here, it's responsible for determining what action needs to be done based on what kind of component you have. But since we have only host components, that doesn't really matter at this point. So I guess it's irrelevant at this point. So I just want to write some function signature. So begin task is taking a fiber and doesn't return that thing. So it only has side effect. Okay, so that is the painting phase, commit all work. Later on we will break it down into commit function that eventually what it will do is going to be based on what kind of effect tag the fiber has. So obviously it needs to do different things on placements, on update and deletion. So commit all work will need to receive a fiber and it will return absolutely nothing. And I'm not going to write it down what it does because it's just so hard coded. It only works on placements. So what it does is basically appends the native DOM elements into each other. So the tree we represent the tree in fibers, and this needs to be flushed out to the DOM so it can actually appear in the browser. It's still good, which is good. And now comes this piece, but before I do anything else, I just want to create two more consts. One is host root, which is going to be host root, and the other thing is const host component, which is going to be host component. And actually I can create a new folder with constants. Let's create index.js, and this will be like fiber related maybe. I don't know how to structure this. Maybe a new folder, fiber tags, maybe. So what I can do is new file index.js, fiber tags, right? Yeah, host root, host component, so I can replace that bit. It's going to be host root, and the host component will be like now everything else. Okay. Also we need effect tags, not just fiber tags. Okay, just a sec. Const placement equals placement. Done. So placement comes here and here. Okay, so we have fiber tags. I don't know how to do this, so maybe the easiest way is just to make it a named export. So we have these export const host component. Should I just re-export them? Yeah, maybe we can change them later on. So export from fiber tags, this component, and where is the other one? Host root. So I can get these, but I also need effect tags. A new folder, effect. Just fiber tags. Fiber effect tags, because it's eventually a fiber. So fiber effect tags. It's a new file index.js. Export, and I don't even need this. I just need to grab this guy and put an export in front of it. So okay, fiber effect tags. Okay, placement. I think we're good to go. So I can get these out. Oh no, I also need to have this enough time. Okay, so anyways, we need to import from constant, not contents. Rename constant. Okay, so from constants, and I need to get everything out of this. So host component, host root, and placement. Okay, good. Maybe I should create some. So enough time is. It has to do with the reconciliation. So reconciliation. Hopefully I spelled it the right way. If not, just let me know. I need to get this out, put it here, export const. Also enough time, so EFGH enough time. Okay, so now we have this as well. Okay, and now comes this part. So the problem we have here is that once it's an array, once it's not an array, so we need a we need a function which is going to verify the value. So what we need to do is if, so let's just start out like this. So if array dot is array value, then just simply return value, and otherwise return value, something like that. I think can do the trick. So we just need to cover the case when the children.length is 0, because we just need to return everything, right? So yeah, so what we need to do here is const error equal verify and children, and what we need to do is if length equals 0, then just simply return for now, and then that is pretty much the same thing. So I believe I should be able to delete this boy and delete the if statement here, and I don't need a return here because it's gonna finish the function there just like this. Uncaught error, cannot read property props undefined. Yeah, sorry, props undefined, yeah, because we need to work with the array now. So but I'd rather call it children props, or just verified children, something like that. It's quite silly, but and actually I need 0 there. Error is not defined. Sorry. Okay, we're back in business. Okay, good stuff. Now that can be simplified in some way. So if it's then return value, if not, return this bit. Okay, why do we have this? That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, if it works, I don't mind. Okay, so verify is just a helper method, so I should probably get this out. So we have misc. I can create a new folder. You create a new folder like just simply verify. A new file. Shite. Sorry. I have no idea what I've done. Probably I've done nothing, right? Index.js. So let's just simply export default, and I need, which one? This one. So I need this one. So export Okay, good. What I want to do is just simply verify. It takes a value, which value is given a, and it will return an a. It can be an a, it can be an a, or it can be an array of a, and it will return an array of a's. Okay, so now we have that boy. Verify children length equals 0. Okay, so we have let new fiber, which can be const new fiber and the only thing that I don't really like here is this bit. So we can do some function outside here, which is I can delete this, and because it needs to have this fiber, and the children can either be let's just give it children, or it can be an array of children, and obviously it will return nothing. And I don't want to write a functions description because it will change massively later. So what I want to do is just get this out to a separate function, and we can call this like create state node const create state node. Okay, so what we need to have here is we need to have the type, we need to have we can basically, what we want to have is the element. So if you think about it, this ReconcileChildren, the 0th element, is a JSX tag, so that's why we are mapping the JSX props to the fiber props and JSX type to the fiber type. So we can simply have the element, and from the element we can map it through. So element the type, so create state node. So what we are missing, element const creates, we don't need a comma at the end. Okay, so I suppose if we get rid of this and have create state node with ReconcileChildren, the 0th element, and okay, like this, and I refresh this boy, and we're still there. Okay. Okay, now I think it's definitely better. So I can do like it's something like react element, and it gives you back a DOM node at this point. But the state node will later differ. So I can create like React instance. So it can give you React instance, or it can give you DOM node. So React instance is your classes, the instance React creates from your classes. So I think that's a proper way to describe what it does. Okay, so overall I think we did a good job. So it reads fairly well what it does in every function. So I'm gonna commit every changes, and I'm gonna leave this branch untouched. so we can kind of have this branch later on if we want to revisit what happened, kind of as having just a snapshot at this point of time. And obviously I'm gonna merge it to master and branch off from master next time, obviously, but gonna leave this branch untouched later on. Alright, so thanks for listening, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye.